Chick-fil-A is taking back its promise to keep antibiotics out of its chicken. Instead, the fast food chain announced they will use a different standard, meaning they will avoid having antibiotics in their chicken. But they are no longer confident they can acquire the supplies to make their chicken antibiotic-free.
So what does this mean? No, it does not mean they're going to put steroids inside your chicken.
Antibiotics are used on livestock to treat infection and sometimes to promote growth.
For the most part. We all take antibiotics, and for the most part, they do that to chickens and animals in places where they're not really conducive to a healthy lifestyle.
The reason we give chickens antibiotics is basically so that we can put them in conditions that we certainly wouldn't want to live.
Meaning they put the chicken somewhere they're going to develop bacteria, so they give them antibodies to fight those bacteria so they don't get sick and produce bad meat, bad eggs, and we all get sick. That's what the antibiotics are for. And that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Antibiotics will disrupt your microbiome. So you have 10 billion microorganisms living in your gut. If you're sort of dousing them in antibiotics or antibiotic residues that are in the food you're eating, it's obviously going to disrupt and change that microbiome.
The microorganisms that are in your stomach are used to break down food. And if you're already taking antibiotics and you're eating food that has antibiotics, it's going to mess up, it's going to really kill those microbiomes that you need to process food. So you're going to have issues like he's a doctor. Like the doctor said, you're going to have issues. It's going to mess up how you digest and process food through your gut, intestine, small intestine, whatever.
It does increase the chances of bugs becoming superbugs.
The next issue are superbugs.
Superbugs are a problem that's getting worse globally. In Australia, we're still better off than most of the rest of the world. But if we want to stay that way, we've got to decrease antibiotic use both in people and in animals.
Superbugs in the chicken and in humans are bad because those superbugs become resistant to antibiotics. And the last reason why antibiotics can be a bad thing is because we do have to get rid of that stuff and it goes back into the environment.
You actually do pee or poop some of those residues out into the environment. So they're going into our waterways, they're going into our aquifers, they're going into the ocean.
And the cycle continues. I know I may be boring you, but this is important. Women, you got to listen to this.
New research suggests that a superbug linked to the chicken we eat could be worsening or even causing bladder infections.
8 million women, including 29-year-old Adrienne LeBeau, suffer from bladder infections.
It feels like I have some type of infection that just won't go away.
Now, the same thing may be happening to men, but I want to address women because I know women got special bodies and a lot be going on in that area, so you might want to pay attention.
According to a growing number of medical researchers worldwide, superbugs, resistant to antibiotics and growing in America's favorite food, chicken, are being transmitted to humans in the form of E. coli.
And don't just say, oh, I clean my chicken, I'm good, because it's happening in your fast food restaurants and it's happening at the local supermarkets.
We're finding the same or related E. coli in human infections and in retail meat sources, specifically chicken.
This is compelling evidence of a direct link between the pervasive, difficult-to-cure human disease and the antibiotic-fed chicken we buy at the grocery store.
And I think it's a cycle. I think that we're feeding ourselves these antibodies, so we're trying to stay healthy and not have germs. And then they're feeding our chickens antibodies so that they don't have germs. And we're thinking, okay, that's good, but not really, because we're building superbugs in our systems and in our food to where now we can't fight off diseases. So what do? They give us more antibodies, more drugs, and then the cycle continues. We're slowly killing ourselves in the vein of trying to stay healthy. What do you think?